Hey guys, it's Shin from the Pendit, and today I'm in Regina Hendricks Science Building, or HSB, weirdly, and I'll be reviewing my first orange pen. This is the Jinhao 599. There aren't many reviews of this, as there is a controversy whether if it's an imitation or a complete ripoff of the Lamy 2000, but I personally feel that it has enough differences to be a standalone pen. Now, just starting off, these are my personal opinions of the pen, and in no way are a consensus of the whole fundamental community. All right, so let's just start with the review. Um, all right, so I'm gonna tell you overall what I like about this pen, what I don't like about it, and then I'm gonna go from top to bottom and explain each aspect of the pen. Cool? All right, so this is obviously an orange pen this time, which is injection molded. There are signs of injection molding both at the bottom as well as the inside of the cap. It's a cartridge converter. It does take Jinhao proprietary converters and cartridges, but it can also take in standard international short cartridges if you really push it. It is an obvious copy of the Lamy Safari, but I feel it has some elements that make it slightly unique. The pen posts securely, and even though it's posted, it's a pretty decently balanced pen. It's slightly heavier than the Safari, not by much, just slightly. Right, so the finning of the cap does not have an X, but the material and the overall shape is similar to that of the Safari. Right below that, there is a trim ring, which is exactly like the Safari, and then it transitions into the clip. Now, the clip is the most different part about this pen. The Lamy Safari's clip does not have a Lamy logo on it. This has an embossed logo. The clip is also rather flat and rounded off at the end. It has a hollow section that runs through it. I personally don't care for the shape of this clip, but it gets the job done. It's okay. As an everyday carry, no one's going to be looking at the prettiness of this pen. The cap transitions to the barrel with a small step down, and then there is a rounded section on the barrel. This is the only rounded section on the barrel, as everything else is flat. The rounded section and the flat portion of the barrel are connected through a dual ink window, which is similar to that of the Safari. The only issue that I have with this is the converter that's provided with the pen can be seen through the ink window. On the Safari, you can't. You can only see the ink or the empty part or the transparent part of the converter. This, you can see some of the metal part as well as the plunger of the converter, which I feel is unnecessary. Now, this is where the 599 is better than the Safari. The Safari has two threads on the section to which the barrel screws onto. That means that there's two ways to orient the Safari's barrel. Either the logo is towards the nib or the same side as the nib, or it's completely opposite. Now, I'm a picky person and I like to have the logo the same side as a nib. I don't know why, it's just a personal thing. So I have to keep doing that once in a while, every single time the logo is on the opposite side. The thing with the 599 is that there is only a single thread, which means there is only one way to orient the barrel to the section in the nib. And that's the way that the logo, and that's in such a way that the logo does line up with the nib. So that's the thing that this 599 has over the Safari. They have really worked that out. After the ink window, the barrel does flatten out to two sections, one of which houses the identically given logo on the Lamy Safari. It's kind of embossed in the plastic and it's part of the injection molding process. Now the end is exactly the same as Safari. I just feel, based on the end and every other design element of the 599, is that the Lamy, though it's a very sharp pen, the Safari is a sharp pen, it's not as sharp as this. There are more sections that are kind of flat rather than curved in Safari. And you can see pictures that I put in the video. Now the section is rather similar to that of the Safari, which in it has two indents for fingers on each side. The clip for the Safari and the 599 are interchangeable. You can interchange them perfectly fine. because it clips onto the part of the section that is right above the nib. The only issue with this section is that again it's more flat than the Lamy Safaris. The Safaris is much more rounded off, so you don't feel the sharpness. Here you can feel the sharpness, but it's not bad. But what you do tend to see is because the feed is black. If you have a lighter version of the 599, which is available in about 12 to 13 colors, you can see part of the feed or the black section because the plastic there is just so thin. It's not a break on you because you can't put that much pressure there anyways, but it's just something to be aware of. Now, let's go to the nib. The Lamy has its proprietary shoulderless design for its nibs, but this is a standard number 5 nib, which does seem to be interchangeable with other standard number 5 nibs, like the one on the Twisby Eco. The 599's feed is nothing special. It's the standard that Jinhao uses for everything else. The nib isn't overly wet the way I like it, the way my Safari functions, but it's a pretty decent nib. It gets the job done. People might have different opinions on the nib, particularly because the quality control of Jinhao isn't as good as Lamy has. There is a lot of inconsistency with the nib of this pen. All right, let's go to a quick writing sample, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys, this is the writing sample for. All right, guys, this is the writing sample for the Jinhao 599. And today's ink is Noodlers Apache Sunset. This is what the ink looks like, and this is it against Noodlers Sunrise and Noodlers Firefly, both of which are highlighter inks. Apache Sunset isn't a highlighter ink per se, but it is pretty light unless you really dump it on the page, at which point, if you have a good paper, or like Rhodia or Tomoe River especially, you can get a brilliant shading from yellow all the way to orange and red. It's a pretty okay ink. It's not terribly well behaved on cheap paper, but if you have decent paper, this ink is going to be pretty good for you. All right, let's go to the writing sample. It's a pretty okay pen. It's not overly wet or dry. Now side stroke, and this is the up and down stroke. Again, obviously it's slightly wetter on the downstroke because you just lay more ink on there. It doesn't have a lot of flex, but if you do want to flex it, it is possible with standard nibs. And if you just bum one of these nibs, you can always just replace it. This is flex test. It's pretty okay. It does railroad quite a bit because I don't think the feed is very well made or there's quality control for the feed. But if you bend the feed a little towards a nib, that might fix your problem. I genuinely hope you guys can see this because it is a rather light ink. But let's see how it. I hope you guys can see that because it is a rather light ink. Let's see how the feed and nib keeps up with the signature. All right, it doesn't keep up. You can see the empty spot right there, which almost no ink is laid out on. Right here, there, this is super light. This is light as well, and then it's very scratchy. This particular nib is okay if you're writing slow, but once you write fast, you actually see how scratchy it becomes. Yeah, you guys can hear that, right? If you do it slowly, not as much. I'm gonna get another pen of mine, and then you can see how it is. All right, guys, this is my custom Karos Customs Fountain Game Mini with the broad nib, and then I'll make you hear the difference. Okay, did you get that? And yep, it's super scratchy. But if you like, I mean, if you have some mylar paper, you might be able to just smooth that right out, and then you've got a brilliant write out. Or you can just like switch out the nibs. These two pens have the same size of nib, so you can switch them out. But this is brilliant. I am not switching this buck nib out for anything else in the world. Um, so that was my review of the Jinhao 599. In orange, these guys are available in multiple colors. They're available in demonstrator versions, smoked demonstrator versions, and they're pretty cheap. I got, I think, 8 of them for like $10 or $11 off eBay, which is a pretty good price for what they are. They're a good throw around pen to just shove in a bag if it breaks. It's okay. It's like $1.50 a pen, and the ink it holds isn't a lot either. So it maybe a little ink gets out, but not much. Um, so for students, I feel it's a pretty good pen. I'm gonna give this pen away. So only thing you have to do is be subscribed to my channel and also be a follower on Instagram, and also comment on this video as to why you should win this pen. A week after the video is uploaded officially, I'll announce the winner and I'll post anywhere in the United States. All right, thanks guys again, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, thanks guys. That's it from me for the Jinhao 599. I hope to see you guys soon, and until then, stay safe.